There have been a lot of great performances from the rookies this season. The top guys in the draft have been showing out and playing at a high level, but there's also been some guys from late in the draft that have been huge surprises and incredibly fun to watch. One of those players is Herb Jones, selected 35th overall by the New Orleans Pelicans. Herb Jones is a really unique player. I honestly don't know how to classify him right now in terms of his position because he's such an anomaly in terms of his size and the talent that he brings to the table. Offensively, he's been really solid, and we're going to talk about his offensive potential at the end of the video, but the main focus of this video is going to be how incredible of a defender he's been and why he projects to be an elite defender and a potential future lock for all defensive team selections. As always, if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on the video. Let's get right into it. So you're probably asking yourself, if he's so good, then why did he go 35th overall in the draft? And this is a common occurrence for rookies that enter the draft at an older age. You see, Herb Jones was already 23 by the time he played in his first NBA game. He played for 2 years at Alabama and was named SEC Player of the Year during his final college season. He was a defensive stalwart in college, leading the league in charges drawn during his freshman year with 23. He took home the SEC Defensive Player of the Year award as well after recording 1.7 steals and 1.1 blocks per game. This was the calling card for Herb. We're going to talk about his offense, which I think has translated to the NBA much better than a lot of scouts predicted, but his defense is what really drew some eyes from scouts during the scouting process. This was a 6'8" wing that had a 7-foot wingspan and also had unreal lateral quickness, allowing him to truly guard any position on the floor and completely shut them down. Ultimately, he would go with the 35th pick in the draft to the New Orleans Pelicans. So how has that defense translated to the NBA? He was good in college, but is this defensive upside that he showed in college making its way to an NBA court? Absolutely. His defensive instincts are insane. He can slide on his feet unbelievably quick despite being 6'8". When people talk about players that can guard 1 through 5, Herb Jones is truly a case of a player that can guard 1 through 5. He also has a ton of defensive versatility, being able to play on the ball and also operate as a help defender. This play here is a good example of that. Watch how this play unfolds. Pirtle is going to be fed by Murray in the post, and Jones is on the weak side, passively covering Derek White. Keldon Johnson makes a pretty smart cut up the middle, but if we zoom in here, you can see that Herb already saw the pass and play unfolding. This is one of my favorite parts of this play. Pay attention here. Herb jumps into the restricted area before going for the block so that he can't get called for a foul. That is just a really heady play from a rookie. There are not a lot of guys who can provide weak side help like that while also having the forethought to get into the restricted area before attempting the block. So many rookies wouldn't even think of something like that, but it's something that Herb Jones does think about. Here's another play from the same game. Schematically, there's not much going on here, but it should give you a good understanding of just how skilled a defender Herb Jones is. He gets taken off the dribble by Johnson, and he manages to keep Johnson in front of him. Johnson tries to go to the rim, but Jones already has one hand on the ball, and at that point, you might as well hand it to him. He strips the ball away, and they get a chance in transition. The way Herb Jones is physically constructed is conducive to him being the perfect wing defender and versatile defensive hub. He clocks in at 6'8" and has a solid 7-foot wingspan. He's not too tall that it's going to slow him down, and he's long enough to be able to guard bigs, even though he's not 6'10" or higher. He's already very clearly one of the most versatile bigs in the entire NBA. Of the top 9 bigs in regards to defensive versatility, which is a score that ranks players on how versatile they are on defense, Herb Jones has by far the highest on-ball perimeter defense score, which measures a player's ability to guard the perimeter. Being guarded by Herb looks miserable. He's the guy that you play pickup against that just tries way too hard on defense and makes your life hell. He doesn't give up on plays because he has such a high motor, and even if you beat him off the dribble, he's so good at recovering and so long that it doesn't matter anyways. He still could get to the ball. He's also good at applying pressure to wherever the ball goes without leaving his man unguarded. This play will explain what I'm talking about. He's guarding Terrence Mann, but he slides over to double Morris. He cuts off the passing lane enough that Morris has to make an errant pass to Mann, almost resulting in the turnover. Herb immediately gets back to Mann and pressures him. Then, when Amir Coffey drives, Jones just sticks his hand out and gets the steal. He was all over the floor on that play, going from one man to another and impacting the play with defensive pressure. This is certainly an impressive effort, but it also can't be taught. Herb exemplifies such an impressive defensive instinct. So we've talked so much about his defense, and while defense is great, it is only half the game. So what has Herb done on offense that has me excited? Is he just a one-trick pony? Absolutely not. Herb has shown some stuff on offense that has me really excited, and I don't think he's going to be relegated to just being a defensive specialist. First off, Herb is an exceptional finisher. He's shooting 67% at the rim this season, and he knows where to move to get an open look at the rim away from the ball. He's a really smart cutter. He actually handles the ball pretty well too, but it's clear that he's an unselfish player and looks for the open pass more often than not unless he knows he has a good look, but we're going to touch on that a little bit more later. Like I said, he's pretty athletic and has a surprisingly strong quick first step for his size. But what really has me excited is his potential as a stretchable big man. On the season, he's shooting 35% from beyond the arc on 88 total attempts. That's honestly really good for a second round pick and someone that people expected to primarily be a defensive specialist. When you consider the fact that he is an awesome defensive force, you've got the makings of a premier 3-and-D player, but even saying that Herb looks like just a 3-and-D guy seems reductive. His defensive ability goes so much further than just perimeter defense, which is what we commonly associate with the term 3-and-D. He can legitimately guard however you want him to guard. Off ball, on ball, weak side, you name it. So if you have a guy like that can also go to the other end of the floor and shoot 35 to 40% from three, that is a really scary player. More than a 3-and-D wing. But we're still not done. There's even more to his game. He was touted for his ability to facilitate the offense on top of being such a great defender. He's got really good floor vision and he knows where and when to pass it. Some of his best passes that he's made this year show signs that there's so much more to him offensively than just sitting on the arc for a three-point shot or cutting to the rim. He's made some really impressive reads in high pressure situations that big men like him aren't really usually capable of making. His role isn't very passing heavy right now, but the Pelicans could look to explore this part of his game down the road. Think almost like a diet Draymond. He can do just a little bit of everything, and his offensive game is better than I think it gets credit for. The Pelicans killed it with this draft pick. It's hard to know what you're getting with a second round pick, but the Pelicans deserve praise for drafting Herb at 35th overall. He's going to be an integral part of this team, and he's already proving why he's such an impactful player and why they should keep him around for a long time. So what do you think of Herb Jones so far? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, and as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new and leave a like on the video, because that's the #1 way to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and get this video recommended to more people. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.